Hey everybody, this is Anthony from VR Game Rankings, and welcome to the 29th episode of our daily vlog series for Thursday, November 9th. And I tell you what, not a ton of news today. Really, seriously, not a ton of news. And I do have some game experiences to talk about, but I'm not sure how long this episode is going to go for, but we'll just go ahead and bang our way through it and see how long it lasts. Every time I say that we're going to have a really short episode, it turns out to be a 29-minute episode anyway, or 30 minutes or whatever, so it doesn't really seem to matter. But I only have two minor news stories today to talk about, and then I'm going to get into some VR experiences that I was able to try yesterday. Okay, so first off, let's talk about this Black Friday deal. We got a new Black Friday deal. This is for the HTC Vive. This is at Office Max and Office Depot. Now, for those of you around the world, you might not know what the hell is Office Max, what is Office Depot. Well, here in the United States, we have a number of brick and mortar retailers that specialize in providing office-related products, school-type products, anything that you would need for an office or a school or business-type related things, printers, monitors, desks, chairs, notebooks, paper, printer paper, you know, all kinds of supplies like that, pencils, pens, staples, staplers. And Office Max and Office Depot, they're kind of like the Burger King to McDonald's, which is Staples. Staples would be the McDonald's, and Office Max and Office Depot are kind of like the off-brand. They're like the Burger King. And basically, you had these two separate retailers, Office Max and Office Depot, and they pretty much do the exact same thing. So at a certain point, they decided to merge, but they haven't chosen like one specific name. So both Office Max and Office Depot, they both exist, and in different parts of the country you will still find brick and mortar retail locations for Office Max and Office Depot, but a lot of them are closing down. There aren't that many anymore. In fact, brick and mortar in general is kind of closing down, it would seem, as online continues to take over. And this deal is only available online, so do not drive down to your local Office Max or Office Depot on Black Friday. They will not have this deal available for you. You have to go online and get the deal. So what is the deal? Well, basically all it is they are throwing in a deluxe audio strap for free with the purchase of an HTC Vive. So it's a $99 value. If you were to buy a deluxe audio strap all by itself, it is $99 plus tax, shipping, blah, blah, blah. But now if you buy this HTC Vive from Office Max or Office Depot online, they will throw in a free deluxe audio strap, a $100 value. Now, if you look at the advertisement that they have for this, it says that they're including Fallout 4 VR, and that's part of the value as well. But the truth of the matter is, everybody gets Fallout 4 VR. If you buy an HTC Vive right now, that is the game that you're going to get for free. So there, you don't have to go to Office Max or Office Depot and get this deal to get Fallout 4 for free. So really, you're just getting the deluxe audio strap. Now, what do I think about this particular deal? Well, you know, it's a good deal for somebody that is already buying an HTC Vive. Like if you have already said, you know what, we are buying an HTC Vive for the family for Christmas. This is going to be the Christmas present to the family. The entire family is going to be able to play VR games and all this type of thing. If you're going to do that, then yeah, you might as well go ahead and get yourself a free deluxe audio strap. Why not? Personally, I kind of feel like the deluxe audio strap should now be packed in. Like the crappy strap that they normally give you, that should be sent somewhere, you know, and the new deluxe audio strap should just be part of the new retail package. I don't understand why it still isn't in the box. It's really kind of lackluster on HTC's part for not including some of this stuff and adding some of this stuff. I mean, I already feel like, You should have a new redesigned Vive that has the new sensors, has Lighthouses 2.0. Obviously, they do have to wait for Valve to get the knuckles, and maybe all of this will happen when the knuckles are ready. Maybe we will have a new retail Vive that will have the deluxe audio strap just installed already. It will come with the new deluxe audio strap already. It will have new lighthouses. It'll have the knuckles. Maybe we'll see something like that next year. But anyway, if you are looking to pick up an HTC Vive, not necessarily a terrible deal. Might as well grab yourself that deluxe audio strap. Excuse me. Okay, so the only other news story that I have is Rec Room. The open beta for Rec Room on PlayStation VR begins on November 21st. So Against Gravity has brought out Rec Room to the HTC Vive. That's where it went first. Then we got Rec Room on the Oculus Rift. And now Rec Room is coming to, well, Rec Room has come to the PlayStation VR, and they've had a closed beta for a while now. And there's a lot of people in the PSVR subreddit that have talked about how they're in the Rec Room beta and how they're having a ton of fun and it's really good and everything. But now we have an open beta on November 21st where everybody is going to be able to get to jump into this open beta. You're going to be able to go to PSN and you're going to be able to download the opportunity to get into the open beta and try Rec Room out. So that's good. It's good for everybody. Rec Room, one of the things that I've wondered about Rec Room, and this kind of goes back to the whole VR is dead thing, you know, because Rec Room, their strategy is they don't charge any money for Rec Room. So you don't have to pay any money to get Rec Room on your Vive, your Oculus Rift, or PlayStation VR. It is absolutely free. And to the best of my knowledge, there isn't any microtransactions or anything that is in Rec Room yet. Now, the idea, well, the thought process is that Rec Room is trying to build this social platform where people will spend a lot of time in Rec Room. They'll keep adding things, and the popularity of Rec Room will just grow and grow and grow. And then at a certain point, they're going to start offering things where people can buy different outfits, different hats, different shirts for their little avatars to wear. Who knows exactly what they're going to do? Maybe there'll be special quests that are not free that you can buy. And so they're going to try to monetize that in some way. Either that, or their hope is that possibly one of these major platforms, Sony, Oculus, HTC, somebody could actually simply want to purchase the Rec Room property and take that over and make it part of their platform. That could be possible as well. So they could be looking towards acquisition. But if the doom and gloom stories that we've heard about VR, if all of that is true, you got to wonder where Rec Room, you know, what Against Gravity is doing with all of this. They're spending a lot of money, a lot of resources. I wish them the best of luck. I really hope they make a crazy ton of money. The product that they brought is a wonderful product, and I hope they have tremendous success. But it is kind of interesting when they're going to start to monetize that, because it has to happen at some point. Okay, so basically that's all the news I got. I looked around at various news stories. Really wasn't anything else that was out there. It was pretty much this Black Friday deal and the Rec Room open beta November 21st. That was basically it. So what I'm going to get into now is we're going to get into some VR game discussion. Yesterday I said that the PlayStation VR demo disc version 2 was available for download in all of the regions worldwide, at least as far as I know. I know it's available in the European region, in USA, Australia, and so it's probably available pretty much worldwide. This is the demo disc version 2. Now, why is this a big deal? It's a big deal because there's a lot of demos that we have never seen on the PlayStation Store. Demos for PSVR games that are currently available right now that we've never seen. But there's also 3 demos to 3 big upcoming PlayStation VR games that are coming possibly later this year, possibly in 2018, and we've never seen demos for this. So this is the first time that the regular general public at large has been able to get their hands on these three big games. And these three big games that I'm talking about Star Child, I'm talking about Moss, and I'm talking about The Persistence. And I was able to play all three of these demos yesterday, and I have to say, man, Sony is absolutely killing it. I'm telling you, you people out there that do not have a PlayStation VR headset, remember I talked about that deal. There's a Black Friday deal at Target. You can get a PSVR headset for $199. It's a doorbuster. You're going to have to wait in line and deal with a lot of that, but it's a great opportunity. You might want to grab yourself a PlayStation VR headset because, man, Sony is absolutely killing it. They have a lot of exclusives that simply aren't going to come to other VR platforms anytime soon. And if you want to experience some of this great stuff, you're going to need a PlayStation VR. So why don't I get into Star Child first? So Playful, of course, the creators of Lucky's Tale, they have a game called Star Child. Now, this is being published by Game Trust. Game Trust, of course, is the publishing arm of GameStop. They actually published The Invisible Hours by Tequila Works. And so they're kind of getting involved in VR a little bit. And they hooked up with Playful, the developers of Lucky's Tale for the Oculus Rift. And they have, Playful has created this game Star Child, which is going to be a PlayStation VR exclusive. Now, we don't know if this is exclusive for an extremely long period of time, or this is only going to be exclusive for maybe 90 days, 6 months, something like that, and it will eventually come to the Vive and the Rift. We don't know if that's going to be the case, but anyways, I was able to try Star Child out yesterday, and I have to say, wow, this really blew me away. First of all, when you start off the demo, you're kind of in this like outdoor, you're on like an alien planet, and it's dusty. It's kind of like Mars, and it just has this vibe, and you're just kind of looking at what looks like a landing strip, and then all of a sudden a spaceship comes flying in, and it flies over your head like that, and the sound is so good. I have to talk a lot about the sound on this thing. And it flies over your head, and it kind of hovers over there. It comes back around, and then it hovers right above this platform and drops down. And then it's kind of an intro sequence as you're lowered and lowered and lowered down into the heart of this planet where this story is taking place. And so eventually you get down to the bottom, and the ship stops, and the ship opens up, and a lady steps out of the ship, and this is the Star Child, I presume. I don't know the name of the character. There's not a ton of details on this game other than some of the trailers that have come out. But basically, so she steps out, and then when she steps out, you have control of her. And so what you're doing is, this is a seated controller-based game, similar to, say, Bound or Chronos or something like that. And when you're moving this character along, the character is on like a 2D plane. It's kind of like New Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo Wii and the God, what was their other platform? Man, I can't even remember the name of the other platform. The Wii U. The Wii U. How quickly we forget. The New Super Mario Brothers on Wii U, the New Super Mario Brothers on the Wii. It's basically a two-dimensional, well, it's a 3D character, but the character is moving on a two-dimensional plane. The character can run and jump, and that's kind of what it's like when you're controlling this character in Playful. And the feel is really good. You're moving her along. When you hit the jump button, she jumps. It's really tight. It's really responsive. And so as you're moving her along, the scenery and the perspective of where you are will kind of move and alter a little bit, but she's like on a track, and you're following her on a track. And I just have to say that as you're moving through this area, the environment just looks beautiful. I mean, it absolutely looks beautiful. It sounds incredible. This is some of the best sound I've ever heard in a VR game like bar none, like really, really good sound. The visuals are spectacular. I was playing this demo yesterday and I was thinking to myself, man, there's a lot of like HTC Vive and Oculus Rift gamers that think the PlayStation VR is like a piece of garbage. And oh my God, they are so mistaken, because in this experience that I was in, I mean, it looked drop dead gorgeous. It sounded amazing. I don't want to spoil the whole demo. It's a very short demo, but some different things happen in this demo that have a real impact, and you're like, whoa, and you're just looking at the graphics. The graphics are so sharp. They're so clean. It's so crisp. Star Child looks spectacular. It absolutely looks spectacular. And this is playful. These are the developers of Lucky's Tale, and they're knocking it out of the park. I mean, these guys know what they're doing. I really didn't know what to think of Star Child in the different previews that we had seen before. There really aren't good screenshots of this game. I don't know if anybody's tried to look for a screenshot for Star Child, but you can't find one that's like crystal clear or like in a 16:9 type format. But man, this game is really on my most wanted list. I mean, this has jumped up there. I'm not sure when this game is coming out. We do not know for sure if this is a 2018 title or if this still has a chance of coming out later this year. Now, I will say that when the demo first begins, you know where it shows the ESRB rating, or whatever the rating is, it's rating pending. So it doesn't have a rating yet. And that kind of tells me this is probably not coming this year. If it hasn't even been rated by the ESRB yet, it's probably not coming this year. This is probably a 2018 release, but definitely consider Star Child in the future, because this is a real banger. I thought I was blown away by this demo. Sound was incredible. It's really short. Now, a few people on the PSVR subreddit, they're complaining that you don't really have much control over your character. The character's on rails. Oh, one other gameplay part of the demo that I didn't explain is you get to these little terminals. You know, she's running along and there's these little terminals. And when you stop at the terminal, it makes a noise, and there's a square above the terminal, and you hit the square button on your controller. And then what she does is she accesses the terminal. And when she accesses the terminal, you get control of this drone, this little hover drone thing, and there's these wires that are dangling, and you take the drone and you grab these different wires and you connect it to these different connections, and then you get, once you're done connecting all of the different connections, then you hover the drone to its little spot where the drone goes, and then it snaps into place, and then that powers something up, a large thing, you know, that gets powered up. And so you kind of have this gameplay that's going on as you're traveling. Now, what I'm curious about is, will there be action? Will there be combat? The jumping feels pretty good. I hope there's a lot of platforming, and I hope there's some action adventure combat. And then obviously you're going to interact with these terminals where you're going to access these drones, and you're going to do other things. And then at the very end of the demo, you have this giant creature robot thing that kind of helps you out. And we're not really sure how all of that plays in. But man, this was an impressive demo. Incredibly short, but incredibly impressive. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The next one is Moss. And Moss is coming to us by Polyarc. And we heard back at Paris Games Week that Moss, unfortunately, was going to be delayed into 2018. Originally, Moss was expected to be a fourth quarter release. This is something we probably were going to get early December or later this month, but the game was delayed till February 27th of 2018. And if you play this Moss demo, you're going to be a little bit even more disappointed by the delay, because the Moss demo is spectacular. Another great demo. Again, this is a third-person game. This is a controller-based game. It's a seated game, so you can sit down, you play with a controller. I know there's a lot of people that they just don't want to play these kinds of games anymore. They want VR to be first person. They're standing there, they're holding the sword, they're holding the shield. I understand all of that, but please do not throw the baby out with the bathwater, because Moss is really cool. You're controlling this little, so the thing about Moss is you kind of have this duality situation where you control the little Moss guy, but you also control this hovering energy ball that can do different things. It can move things, it can turn things around, it can move things out of the way. And so it's kind of this back and forth interaction between you controlling the little mouse, Quill, the little mouse, and also moving things out of the way so that Quill can get by a passageway or can get up to can climb up to a new plateau and get further along in the game. And there is combat in this game. You will be swinging your sword and battling these creatures, and it's weird because you can battle, like there's little enemies that will come near Moss and Moss has to battle them, but you can also be this like external thing where you have this energy ball, and you can take your energy ball and you can put it on the enemy, and you can kind of trap the enemy for brief seconds of time, which helps the little mouse be able to attack the enemy and not take damage. And so it's this back and forth play that is really interesting, because you're not just doing one or the other. Like in a lot of VR games, the mouse might have automatic control and you're just helping the mouse out, or you control the mouse but you don't have control of this other helper. But in Moss, you're actually doing both, and you have to switch back and forth. The visuals are quite beautiful. The little character is really cool. The character's running around, and you know what it does in this game? It's kind of like Tiny Tracks, where sometimes the perspectives are similar to Chronos in the fact that you don't have control over the camera. So you're moving your Moss character. You're moving Quill, the little mouse. You're moving Quill around, and as you move her around, your perspective will change, and you just have to kind of live with whatever perspective they give you. But sometimes they give you a perspective where you're like looking down and you're looking over here, and it's almost like it kind of surrounds you, similar to Tiny Tracks on PlayStation VR, where it kind of wraps these tracks around you and you just kind of look down. But it's kind of one of those things where you're like looking down and it's almost like you're watching holograms that are interacting with each other, and it's right there in front of you. It looks really cool. So I was really impressed by Moss. Looks like a great game. That is coming, I believe, February 27th is the release date for Moss. So we're definitely going to be looking forward to that one in 2018. The last demo I'm going to talk about is the Persistence. Okay, so the Persistence is being developed by Firesprite. Now, the thing about the Persistence is, way back in the summer, we thought the Persistence was going to be released. I'm pretty sure that the Persistence originally had like a release month of June or July, and June and July obviously came and went, and we didn't hear a single thing about the Persistence. We didn't hear anything about it in the month of August, and it was all the way until, and in the month of September we didn't hear anything about it. So I honestly started to wonder if the Persistence got canceled. I started to worry about it, because it's like, what the hell ever happened to the Persistence? Well, the Persistence is alive and well, because it is on this demo disc. You can play this experience. Now, what I would say about the Persistence is, if you're a fan of Dead Space, it kind of has that vibe. It's kind of a Dead Space, kind of an Alien kind of a thing, you know, kind of like Event Horizon, where you're on this ship that something has gone horribly wrong and you're trying to figure out what is going on. That's kind of the story that we're going here with the Persistence. And just the environment and the atmosphere is really powerful. You get to explore this area. The controls are problematic, though. I'm not going to lie. I had a lot of problems with the controls in this game. Okay, so first of all, it doesn't appear that you can use move controllers. And so when you're in the game of the persistence, you have like one arm that's here, and then you have your other arm that's here that's holding a gun, or it's holding something else. And these arms they're in a fixed position. You know, they're always there. And no matter if you move your controller up like this or move it around, your arms are not moving at all. Your arms stay steady. And that was the biggest problem that I had with this demo. If we actually had move controllers, and if the move controllers were synced up, so if I moved my hand like that and moved it like this, and my hand actually moved and the gun actually moved, I think it would be so much more immersive. But they would have to go with a control style that is similar to the Solus project or Skyrim VR, where you're using moves, but you also can do free locomotion with one of your move controllers. You know, you kind of point it in one direction, you hit the move button. Obviously, that's going to take away one of your hands and only leave one hand available when you're, you know, you won't be able to move and fight at the same time with one of your hands. Normally, your left hand obviously is going to be the one if you're right hand dominant. And so no move controller support as far as I can tell. So you're using a DualShock, and it was just kind of weird to me to have your arms and everything, they're just stuck in position. This is kind of like almost like a head game where you're using your head to like look at things and activate things, and then when a zombie comes at you, you're not moving your gun around, you're moving a cursor that's on the screen. Kind of, I think Resident Evil 7 was kind of like this, but your arms kind of moved around a little bit more to kind of like give you a little bit more of that feel. But in this, your arms don't move around at all, but you can move the cursor, you can get headshots on these zombies. The graphics are great, the sound is really good, there's a lot of good detail, there's a lot of, like, you can really explore. You're on a ship, a scientific vessel that is called the Persistence. That's the name of the ship, and something has gone horribly wrong, and the crew has turned into like weird zombie creatures, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on, and it's very atmospheric. This is definitely going to give somewhat of a Dead Space vibe, somewhat of like an Alien kind of vibe. It's really going for that, and it works pretty well in most regards. But the controls do kind of bother me a little bit. When I first tried this demo, I was sitting down, and I did it sitting down, and that was a mistake. And so when I did it the second time, I was standing up. It has smooth turning, but whenever I do smooth turning, that wrecks with my brain. I cannot do smooth turning. I don't really get motion sick a lot in too many games, but smooth turning doesn't work for me. I need the quarter, you know, the click, 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 click. I need that kind of movement, like going in this direction. You know, that does not work for my brain. So I had to turn on the quarter click movement, but it's super slow. You hit a button and it's like click, hit a button, click. It takes too long to turn around, and then again your arms are stuck in a certain position. And so like you'll turn your body a little bit, and your arms are like your real life body, you're turning this way, your arms are like over here. So the one good thing, I guess, about your arms being stuck is it kind of lets you know where your PSVR camera is. So if you kind of turn your body like that, you're like, oh, okay, I'm kind of turned away from my camera. So you got to get it so that your arms are in front of you, and then you use the snap turning to turn and look at stuff, but it's really slow. Also, your walking speed is really slow in this game. There is a teleport, and the game will actually tell you, you haven't used teleport in the last couple minutes. Why don't you try using teleport? But the teleport only lets you teleport like maybe 8 feet ahead. You can't teleport really far. And then also, if you teleport too many times, there's a cooldown period. So there are some little irritations that are going on here with the Persistence. This is another game. We don't know the date. We don't know when the Persistence is coming. Not sure if this is going to be a fourth quarter I mean, we're in the fourth quarter now. So is this game coming out in November? Is it coming out in December? Or is this a 2018 game? I would probably lean towards maybe 2018, but I don't know. But this does look like a pretty powerful game. I really wish they could add move controller support, but that's probably not going to happen. But basically, if you're a PSVR owner, definitely download this disc. I haven't even gotten into all the other demos. I mean, they have a demo for Dino Frontier. They have a demo for Raw Data, Tiny Tracks. They got a lot of different demos on this demo disc. But I was blown away. Starchild, Moss, The Persistence, all looked incredible. If I had to rank them in order, I would say I'm most intrigued by Starchild. Sound was amazing. Visuals were incredible. Yes, you're kind of on rails in a platformer, but I'm perfectly fine with that. I could have a lot of fun with that. That is not a problem. Moss is really cool. I would rate that number 2, and Persistence would be number 3 for me. Now, if Persistence did have move support and you're moving your guns around independently and you're not using like that head look for everything, that would be so much better. But, you know, we'll just have to see what happens. But it's still very atmospheric, still has a good vibe. And so that is the PlayStation VR demo disc. Well, at least the unreleased games. Okay, guys, so I've hit the 30-minute mark and spent a lot of time talking about those 3 demos, but they're all powerful. They're all quite unique and quite awesome. So if you do have a PSVR, definitely check that out. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for episode 29 of our daily vlog series. This, of course, is Thursday, November 9th, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.